Hey guys, how's it going? Just been out for a surf and actually wasn't that good. So I've come back and I'm gonna try and make myself a chambered timber surfboard, a solid timber surfboard. So I've been thinking about doing it for a while. So what I've done, I've made a little template there. So that's gonna be the shape of the board. And then on this piece of wood here, I've just made a template to cut out the rocker. It's going to be made out of pine, and I've got some cedar here as well, so I think it'll look really good to have the combination of the different colours. Righto, so there's me first one there. That's going to be the shape of the surfboard. So this will be the front rocker. This is the back part where it'll get thinner at the end. So now I'll use that one to hopefully cut out the rest. So I've roughly cut the shape of all of the boards, and there you can see I've just got them clamped together. They're only glued together just in the middle. So what I did was I actually screwed them together, and then I've just glued the middle one together so it'll dry overnight. Then tomorrow I'll be able to start shaping the blank before I shape the board. Then what I'll have to do is split it apart so that I can hollow out the inside of it so that it's not too heavy. So I'll make a video. So I've made a big mess in here, but I've cut out all the boards and I actually clamped them together. So what I've done is I've actually I started at the rails, screwed all the boards together, and then just the boards in the middle are the only ones that are glued together at the moment. So what I need to do now, I'm ready to shape it. So you can see I've sort of drawn on the pattern of what it's going to look like. So what I'll do now is I'll use my sander, I'll shape it, and then once I've shaped it and I'm happy with it, I'll have to pull it all apart so that I can chamber it out. So yeah, I'll make a little video. So tonight I've had the electric planer on it, and so this is the bottom of the board. So just been leveling out all of this, and you can see right here I've got the straight edge just there. So ideally this will be where the point comes in for the board, and you can see there it's pretty flat all the way through. I've still got to sand it, but I want it to be flat through here, and then as it goes through, as it starts to get into the middle, you can see I've taken out a little bit more there. I'll take out a bit more here because I actually want that to be concave to be underneath, which will help give the board a bit of lift, and it'll help it to move onto the rails a bit more as well when I'm doing turns. So hopefully it works out the way that I think it will. And then you can see down the end here, we've got the tail of the board. So again, it's pretty flat. This will be where the fishtail is at the end. So that V, it'll be flat up this end, and then it'll start to go through a bit of a concave here, and then it'll be a concave there as well. So I've now sort of cut the shape out just real roughly. I've made the front sort of like a point. So now I'm just going to hit it with the belt sander and try and get it really level and smooth through here. I'll get all this nice and leveled out in the point, and that'll end up quite thin there. So I'll do a bit off the top, flip it over, do a bit off the bottom. I've just put the texture marks on there so that I know when I cut it out where I don't have to worry about whether it's smooth or not. So now it's all about just trying to get the thickness right. Then what I'll do is I'll cut it out properly, make the proper shape, and then I'll shape the channels and everything in it. Yeah, we're getting there. Rightio, board progress. So I've made a little rack just so that I can work on the sides and work on the rails. So I've just got the planer there. I've cut it out just roughly with the jigsaw, and now I've got the planer. I'm just going to plane it down to the line there. Once I've got it down to the line, I can sort of start working out the rails a little bit, and then it'll be time to pull it apart and channel it out. It's coming along all right. There's been a couple of mistakes, but hopefully I can fix those up. I had a bit of a malfunction with the jigsaw, so I'm going to have to glue in a piece, but yeah, hopefully show you where it is when I finish, but hopefully I can Rightio, so there you can see I've got it pretty close to the line there. Now I'll get the belt sander on it and just smooth it out a bit. And it should be pretty much the shape I want. But yeah, it should look like a surfboard pretty soon. Alrighty, so here comes the bit I'm pretty nervous about. So I've just started to kind of shape the rails a little bit. I've just taken a little bit off the edge with the planer. But because all the boards are screwed together, I actually can't do the rails. So it's time now to pull it apart and actually hollow out the inside. So I've got this board here, I'm going to place it underneath the board and then hopefully press on either side. And hopefully this will crack in the middle. So if I show you in here, now you can see where it's all screwed together. So now what I can do is undo those screws bit by bit. I can actually chop out some sections inside here, which will make it a whole lot lighter once I'm done. So this is what I mean by hollow the board there. So that bit you can see goes in there, and what I've done is actually when I've put them apart, I've hollowed out chambers. So that's going to make it heaps lighter by taking a fair bit of the chunky wood out. So I've just started chambering out the second side now. So you can see there, I've cut all the chambers out, ready for it to glue back together. I've just left a bit of extra timber in here because that's where part of the fin box is going to go. So what I'll do now, these bits that I've just chambered out, I'll glue these up. So you can see there. So I'll glue that section, and then here I've just got to finish shaping the rails. So I'll glue this section up, then I'll glue this section up, then the other half's over there. Rightio, so we've got all the boards are hollowed out now, and I glued it all together last night. So I glued it pretty good, but you can see, I don't know if you can see on the video, but there's a few sort of fire points. So that one obviously slid up a little bit while I was gluing it. But what I did was I got the planer out, and I've planed off the rail bands there. It wouldn't go in there because of the curve, but so I'll just get that with the sander. But maybe if I show from this end, that side's the rough side, just with the planer, and then I've got the belt sander. Rightio, so I'm going to call it a day. It's pretty dark out there, but I started to do the rails. So you can see how this rail is nice and round on the back. It's still square and flat. So I've just shaped the back of the rails so they're nice and curved now. I'm pretty happy with it, except in hindsight, I've got to cut the fish in now, and I'm going to cut the flies in. And now the board's rounded on the edge here, so it's going to make it really hard for me to cut them in with the jigsaw. So yeah, in hindsight, I wish I had have left the back square because I've been able to cut it easier. So yeah, fingers crossed. Under the sun. Well, I've left myself a bit of room so I can actually straighten it up with the sander and I'll file. So it chipped a little bit out, but I'll actually get the file anyway, and that'll get rounded off into the point. Now just to do the flyers. See how we go. I've just come around the end and noticed a mistake. So when I've cut the fish out, I actually had the chamber too far back on this board, so I've actually cut a hole in, so I'm gonna have to fill that up, otherwise it's gonna fill up with water. So we'll see. So we haven't gone too bad. You see the little step in there. I will round that off even more, and then that one's pretty good. So we're pretty symmetrical, I think. I did cut in a bit too far here, but actually I've got a bit more to take off there when I sand it. So I think we're going to be all right. Pretty much complete in terms of the shaping. I've got it all the way down to, I don't know if you can see, it's super smooth. I've sanded it all the way down to 240 grit sandpaper, so it means it's really, really smooth. I did say I've made a couple of mistakes that I'd show you at the end. So there was one section here where the jigsaw blade actually bent in when I was cutting out, so there was a bit of a dip there, and I didn't want to sand it out because there would have been a dip in the board. So what I've done is I've actually just mixed up some glue and some sawdust from the cedar, so I'm hoping to make some putty. And there was one spot on the side there as well, so I've done that, so I'm hoping that the glue dries clear, so therefore the sawdust should hopefully make it blend in, and then I'll just hit it with the sander and take all the rest of the glue off these bits, so it should come up alright. But I think even if it comes up how it was, I think I'll still glass it as is, and it should come up pretty good. So the only things really left to do now, once this dries, I'll have to put the fin boxes in the back there so that I can put some fins in. I'll have to put a leash plug on, so I'll probably put the leash plug in around here somewhere. And then I've just got to put a breather in, so probably I'll put that up here, I think, at the front of the board, just so that it can breathe in the storm. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's come up. So we are getting very close to finish the board. So I've put the fin boxes in, as you can see there. These aren't the fins that I'll have in. I'm actually going to put a different type of fin in the back. I might put either some little nubs to just little short ones, or some keel fins. But that sort of shows you the setup. I did make a mistake last night, unfortunately, and I drilled a hole for the back fin box in the wrong spot. So instead of going from the front one, I went from this line, which was just to help me get the right angle for the fin. If you can see how they angle out, but they also toe in at the front. So yeah, I put some putty in there. I think you'll really be able to notice it by the time I'm done. So I've got it there, I've just run out of glue. So I've just cut the little hole in, and that'll go in there like that. I've made enough room so that after I glue it in, then what I'll do is I'll put the first coat of resin on the board, so it soaks in, and then the little tiny hole around the outside, you can see there's a little bit of movement there, but I've made a little rebate for these little square end bits to go into. So then the resin will go down the side, so you can see how it's shaped. So it's actually for, once you put it in, resin will flow down there and then it will fill up with resin. And it should be in nice and tight. The board. I've got the filler coat to put on first so that all the resin doesn't soak into the board when you glass it. But it's a pretty rainy, shitty day, so I'm hoping it's sun activated resin, so I'm hoping that I'll get enough sun to make it go hard. So we'll see how we go. So I've just painted the first layer on, so I think it's pretty good, looks pretty smooth, so I'm pretty happy with it. So it's UV activated resin, so yeah, open the door and once the light hits it, the resin should go hard. Very scary moment, but I'm just about to put the air breather in. So as you can see, I've got the board looking pretty nice, and I've just had to drill a hole right in the middle of the board, which I was super scared to do. But as you can see, it's hollow in there, and it's actually perfect because I've drilled the hole right where the one of the sort of thicker bits was. So once I put the breather in, it'll go down in there like that, and I can just make it deep enough so that it'll sit flush. And then once I've got it flush, I'll glue it in, and I can continue to resin at the top. So yeah, it's actually worked out perfect, but I was very scared to do it. So I'm hoping this is going to work all right. I filled it up with araldite, so it should be watertight. And I've just got the tape on there just so it won't sink down too low. So that little breather should end up just a little bit above the height of the top of the board. And it should be right in the best spot. Then I can flip her over, do the fill coat on the bottom, and then it'll start to be last sort of fill coat on the top and then a gloss coat, and it should be done. So it's pretty much almost done. I've got that the breather. That'll have to be sanded down level. I've just done the last sort of hot coat, so I'm just going to sand it back. There's a few little sort of runs and stuff that I'll sand off. Right, yeah. Well, we've sanded it back. Looks pretty good. I'm probably going to do one more coat on the bottom, another fill coat. This bit here, sort of, yeah, there's a few little bumpy bits still on the bottom, a couple of little bits back here as well. And what I'll do is I'll dam the back so I can get a nice sharp edge here. But the front, one more just real light coat on here, and then I'll be able to cut it back and make it shiny. It looks like I'll get to take it out this weekend, which is pretty cool. Almost done. I'm just hitting it with the wet and dry sandpaper, so I got 600 grit, and I will go down to 1200 grit to make it super shiny and super smooth, and then should be ready to take it out. Done, and that's fiberglass in my hair making this board. Hasn't made me go grey, but I'm absolutely stoked with it. I feel like it's a work of art, so if it doesn't ride any good, I'll put it on the wall somewhere probably, but yeah, absolutely super stoked. Yeah, super happy with the colours, and yeah, now I'm gonna take it out for a ride. Things to put in there. I'm going to start off riding it as a 20. I thought that looked cool, so yeah, I'll see how they go. I obviously put the quad fin boxes in so I can put some of those little nubster fins in the back and maybe try it with some normal fins. I've got them in the front boxes at the moment, so hopefully it turns okay. If I don't get enough drive, I'll move them back here. Yeah, really looking forward to taking it out for a ride. Probably the biggest lesson in making the board was probably just to it tested my patience a lot, and I really do respect board shapers because the amount of work that's gone into it. Yeah, I don't know how they just make them and then give them away or sell them. So I can't wait to ride it. And then probably the other major lesson is, you know, it seems like the whole way through I felt like I still had so much to do, and it wasn't really until I got the wet and dry sandpaper on it and started sanding it back right at the end that it sort of felt like I was winning, and it was starting to look how I wanted it to look. So yeah, super stoked, and yeah, it's don't be fooled, it's way easier just go and buy a board, but yeah, super happy with the project. Getting ready for the maiden voyage.